Good night. My name is Roberto and I'll be talking about LNG and climate change, evaluating its carbon footprint in comparison to other fossil fuels. Now, right from the start, I should state that three of the authors are from the LNG industry in Nigeria, and so there is a clear conflict of interest. Nevertheless, let's get into the article. Um, so the authors are concerned with LNG's role in combating the challenge that is climate change as the world begins to shift into more environmentally responsible energy solutions. And so they're interested in knowing the role of, or rather the carbon footprint of LNG in comparison to more traditional fossil fuels such as oil and coal. And so the overall objective of the paper is to conduct a comprehensive assessment or analysis of the carbon footprint associated with liquefied natural gas. And this would consider the entire life cycle of LNG and not necessarily just the combustion. This would encompass the exploration, the drilling, the extraction process, the liquefaction process, which transform natural gas into a liquid form for easier transportation, the transportation emissions itself, the regasification process, and finally the combustion. The methodology relies on data collection from multiple sources, and this would ensure its accuracy and relevance. As I said, the overall objective of the article is to understand the carbon footprint of LNG itself, and one way of doing this is quantifying the amount of carbon dioxide emitted per unit of energy. And so the findings are that the carbon emissions from LNG during exploration is primarily contributed to the machinery used in the exploration process. The extraction phase, the primary concern there is the potential for methane emission and methane emissions itself, which is a contributing factor to global warming. For the liquefaction process, on the other hand, this is a energy-intensive process that uses electricity and diesel, and in some cases, natural gas. This, of course, emits carbon. The shipping phase as well would require energy as well, and of course, emits its own amount of carbon as well. This is considered into the entire evaluation as well. The regasification as well converts back the liquid into gas. This is for easier distribution. This process is also energy intensive and uses electricity or natural gas as well. This, of course, emits another set of carbon. And lastly, the combustion itself, of course, emits CO2 into the atmosphere, contributing to overall global warming. However, when compared to traditional fossil fuels such as coal and oil, the authors note that coal is notorious for its high carbon intensity and adverse environmental impact. This is also the same for oil, but less than coal. However, the authors note that oil is still far more carbon intense than LNG itself. This leads to the overall conclusion that LNG is a much cleaner source of energy when compared to fossil fuels, such as coal and oil. Now, the authors also discuss the potential for technological advancements and innovation, potentially reducing the amount of emissions from the LNG life cycle. Um, this includes technological advancements in refrigeration, the use of natural gas in the overall process itself, reducing the amount of carbon that is emitted throughout its entire life cycle. The author also go on to mention some of the key consumers of LNG, which is the Asia Pacific region, and some of the key exporters of LNG, which is the Qatar state, the United States, Australia, and Russia. Now, overall, the conclusion of the article is that LNG exhibits a lower carbon footprint when compared to traditional fossil fuels such as coal and oil. Now, they state that LNG offers a cleaner alternative, and this would lead to a more cleaner future. They, however, state that LNG is a bridge fuel and not necessarily the final destination of a more green future. And lastly, they say that LNG could contribute to the overall global effort in mitigating climate change. Thank you for your attention.